afternoon to all of you. This is Aradhana from ACJ Newsroom, and today I have with me in the newsroom Akhil, who's going to talk about the role of youth in the UP elections and how they have become one of the major focus of all the political parties. Hi Akhil. The first question that I wanted to ask you is that in UP there is the population who are registered to vote is 14 crore people, and out of all of them, half of the population, half of the registered voters is the youth. So how do you think that they are going to play a major role in this election?
A very significant role, and not just that, but I think 3.8 crores of these 14 crore people are between the age of 20 and 29. So which means that any policy or any scheme that's going to be released by the central government or by the state government should be directed at them. Because in the end, they are the ones who are going to step up and say that I'm entitled to this. And the moment that begins to increase, or any party that promises them those entitlements, and I think they're going to vote for that party. So I think that would be the starting point. But and also during the campaigns and at all rallies, the main focus, I think the focus has been the youth. And every political party has made certain promises, and I think as of now,
these basically, what are the promises that every party in some of the other scheme or some of the other scheme in the budget, they've targeted the youth population in this region. So what has been the strategy of the SP, BSP or the BJP in terms of targeting in terms of bringing out these schemes for the youth? What have they?
Let me first talk about SP and the Congress Alliance and also the SP. And I think most of their strategy has been, their manifesto hasn't received the kind of attention that the BJP manifesto received. And what we have heard about their manifestos, and I think even during the press conferences, has been a critique of the BJP manifesto. And even if their manifestos came earlier, and I think their manifestos haven't been as criticized as the BJP manifesto was. And I think one of the reasons is that there hasn't been much change in their manifestos. And for instance, Akhil spoke about employment exchanges for the youth, which didn't work out a couple of years ago, and it was shut down, and the budget allocation for these employment exchanges was cut. And it had about 1 crore registered
people,
youth. And about a couple of years later, it came down to 70 lakhs. And then now people have just run away. They no longer go to the exchanges to get employment. So I think these schemes again have been renamed. They have been revamped. They have been revamped, and they have been introduced in their schemes. And when it comes to BJP, and I think what they are trying to do is what they did with the budget. For instance, increasing rural allocation and talking about national skill development mission and trying to set up skill training institutes. And all of these, I think they're already covered with their central budget. But when it came to the state, and when during the campaigns, and that's what they say, you take out the conflict between the state and the central government, and we will bring development to you. And they blamed Akhil and saying that for over 3 years now, he has been the person who has been a blockade for our development activities.
So when you talk about the youth, the first thing that comes to your mind is the employment rate. So in UP, we've seen that it is the 9th most unemployed state in this country. So in order to interact with the youth, in order to engage the youth, you need to talk about the employment opportunities that you're going to introduce for them. So what have these parties done in terms of that?
As I said, Akhil did try the employment exchanges, and he did send out a notice or a statement to the private companies and as well as to other government agencies, and asking them to notify the agencies that he had created if in case there are any vacancies. That didn't work out. So the other thing that, for instance, Narendra Modi has been talking about skill development and skill development training institutes. At the same time, they're also talking about providing free education to all those who score above 50%. Now, why are we talking about education? Because again, literacy rate. So that's about say 67% in UP, and the overall India literacy rate is around 74%. So it says it's quite low. And not just that, but when it comes to both unemployment and literacy rate, since UP is heavily populated, densely populated, the figures just magnify twofold, threefold as compared to the other states. For instance, competition increases, and the number of students who take their examinations and the ones who can get jobs on merit. So I think one of the reasons why corruption is such a big thing in UP and why several people, and even Rahul Gandhi, Akhilesh Yadav, and Narendra Modi, they've been talking about corruption, they're talking about accountability is because of the population to a certain extent.
And also, when we talk about these schemes and all these things which have been introduced by them in the budget, BJP does, in a certain sense, has a monetary advantage when compared to the other parties, because obviously they're in the power at the center. And these parties, the other parties, the state parties, they might fall short in funds. So what do you have to say about that?
Yes, for instance, farm credit,
Yeah.
the central farm credit policies or schemes, or waiving of farmer loans, or rural allocation, as I said,
Yeah.
last mile connectivity, improving infrastructure. This definitely generates employment as well. So
Yeah.
they have that advantage, and I think people, since that has been the rhetoric all along from the side of BJP, and I think people, I think will lean towards them when it comes to this and actually believe them more, because they've already given Akhilesh Yadav 5 years of,
Yeah.
and his chance, I think, with the employment agency, as I said, that's one of the examples.
Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about is now the time has come when the old guard is now stepped aside, and you've been seeing a lot of new faces. The youth face that is put forward in every party. For example, in the SP now, Akhilesh Yadav, has more importance than Mulayam Singh Yadav, and then in the Congress you do not see Sonia Gandhi rallying around that much, but you see Rahul Gandhi, who's now in the forefront. So what do you have to say about that?
So I would compare it to the BJP strategy, where they haven't employed such a strategy at all.
BJP hasn't done that.
So I think on their part, and I think SP and Congress have been wise when it comes to this, and to a certain extent there have also been a few conspiracy theories saying that fight over the symbol or Akhilesh winning it could also be in a sense a strategy,
Yeah.
where it also signifies that the Akhilesh Yadav is now taking the mantle for Samajwadi Party, and here again conspicuous absence of Sonia Gandhi.
Sonia Gandhi.
So I think again Rahul Gandhi taking over the Congress.
Okay. So we'd like to end our discussion on the UK elections. Thank you so very much.